ICT live session. There are 9 questions. Very good. Very happy to see these 9 questions. So the first one is how to make pandas reads data if it is taken from a website. That's a good question. We already have a video on that. I hope you have seen that video, which you can just go to it. You will find it on the channel, and it talks about, this is the one, read from HTML website. And it does explain what needed, but I'll go and show you how to do it as well. So basically you need to find a website that allows you to read data. Not every website will allow you to read data directly because of security. So let's create a full library here. I think we have a library called live sessions. No, we'll create a new one. Okay, say live session 16 April 18, and we'll call it live session 16 April 18. So this is the library, and inside that library we'll create one Python version 3.6, and we'll say reading from website. Yeah, good. And then we open it. I will increase the font as soon as it loads. And as I said, we need to find a website that does allow us to do this. We'll find the website, but let's first come here. The basic things: import pandas as PD. Now with this one, sometimes you make a small mistake, like putting a here. Pandas is, that's the way it is. Okay, now let's say here we'll call our data, and then we'll use pd dot read underscore HTML. This is the way you read. We have seen CSV, we have seen Excel, and this is called HTML. So if you just use that one and find the URL, then it will read the website and give you the data, will store it into data. Now it's not that straightforward, because let's find a website. So UAE, the example I use, I think UAE League, or maybe you can find the Premier League or something like that. Some of these websites would have the result of some clubs and football. Most of you like football and games, not all. So that may be a good example to use. Maybe this one. Now one condition, I'm not sure if you can read this one, but one condition you need to know: the website should start by HTTPS. If it doesn't have S, you will not be able to do it on Azure, because Microsoft putting a security there to ensure the website is a legitimate website and it's not going to harm the system. So it has to be like that. So if we take that URL and add it here, you can see it doesn't have S, so this one might not work. So if we come here and just run that cell, you will find out now if it's going, seems going to work. Yeah, okay, so let's see if we can, because it did not generate an error. So if you come here and say data.head, Microsoft seems more flexible. No, it didn't work. Yeah, it didn't allow us to do that, so because of that security. So let's find another website. I think the website we used here, I put the details of that website somewhere here. The address of that, I don't know where is it. This is the, no, I didn't add it. I added it somewhere. Oh, I think here is the one that we used last time. Oh, it's not working. Sorry. Okay, let's find another website. The one I used, I can't even remember which one I used, but I'll find it now, then we'll figure out which one. This one, again, we go back. This might work because it has the S there. So not every website will allow you to read data because, again, of the security issue. So we need to find a website that allows us to read data. So we'll see if this is going to work. This is also not going to allow us to read data. Where is the website I used last time in that example? I can't remember which one I used. If one of you seen that, maybe this is the one. When it comes, I'll keep trying until I find a website that allows me to do so, and that is again related to the security. This one will not do. Maybe this one will do. Maybe let's copy and go there. Just basically trying to find a website that will allow me to read the data, and it's not up to me or anyone, it's up to the website. If that website seems, this one seems might work. Yes, so we are no, we're not successful in finding the website. Now let's look at which website I used here. I think I used a website. Here is the one that I used. Yeah, this is the one. This was the website that I used. So what is the URL? You basically find the URL and then you can read the website. Now this Arabian Gulf League. Yeah, that's Arabian Gulf League. That's the name since, I think, since UAE won the Gulf League some years ago. Since that time, the name of the UAE League is, this is not the one. Again, it's just you need to find the right address. In exam or anything, if you're giving a task like this, you will be given the correct address that allows you to read. And once you read it, that's what I want to do. I want to show you the next thing we can do with that one. Okay, this might be, it's another website, but it might allow us to do, looking at how it is working. It seems connected. There's issue with finding the right website, but I thought I added the link here, but for a reason it's not taking us to the right link. I thought I did add that link, but something went wrong in that library. But basically you need to have the right website. Where is that code? I think I added the code. If you go here, you will find the code somewhere where I added, maybe here, week 5, is that in week 5? I don't remember where I added it, but read HTML. Sorry, I can't remember where I added it. But you need to find a link that allow you to read the website. Once you find that link and you do that, it gives you the data. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. I think the first one, this one is reading fine. Yeah, it's good. This is reading now, but I'll show you one thing. Inside this table here, when you look at this site, there are multiple tables. There is a table here, there is a table here, and there is a table here. Which one we want to read? So when we come here, we need to decide which one. So you have this bracket, and you put a number here. If you put 0 here, it will basically read the first table you have. Yeah, so 0 gave us this one, 0 in A, found, country, things like that. Coming from where? Coming from the first table you have. Now if you want the second table, you can use, instead of 0, you can use 1. Okay, and now it's getting us the second table inside that website. So this is the second table, and we're displaying only the head. Yeah, so if we don't want the head, we want everything, it's working. Yeah, this one is working, so it's getting us all the data you need. Okay, so this is basically how to do it. We have a website that allows us to read. You need to import basic. You need to have a variable, you call it data, and then pd.read HTML, and you put the URL in between quotation. Now to get any table from the website, the table start by 0, then 1, then 2, then like that. So you look at your website, and based on the sequence of the website, so the first table in this website is this one. This is just a table of content. This is the first one, which has these details. So if I'm coming here and saying data 0 only, and run this, you will see I will found 1973, which basically this the first row. And then the next row, country United Arab Emirates. So you will find country United Arab Emirates. And then the third one, and then like that. So now it's reading the first table on that website. I want the second table on the website. Second table will be 1. Yeah, will be 1. So when you do that, now you're getting the second table of that website. And you want the third table, you'll put 2. Then you get the third table in the website. Where is the third table? It's somewhere here. This is the third table in that website. So it's very simple to use read HTML. Just instead of read underscore Excel, you need read underscore HTML. And then you put the website. The website should be a website that allows you to read. And it depends on the configuration of that website, if it's allow or do not allow. Not every website will allow, but 99 of web what do you call it, Wikipedia, 99 of Wikipedia will allow you to read, and there are so many other websites will allow you to read. That's one way. The other way is you can copy that whole website, save it, and put it on your computer, and then you read it from the computer if it's not allowing you to do that. But you will not be asked to do something like this. You will be asked to do live website, and live website basically just you need the URL address. Okay, I think we did that. Then the next question, read the data in Excel file named car sales data XLS, okay, and save this data in a data frame called data. It's simple, yeah. let's do it here. We don't have that data set, but here is the question. Yeah, car sales dot data. Okay, so you can say cars equal, for sure you need to import pandas, this line you need, and we already have that line. Yeah, so we don't need it, but here we come with a variable called cars equal pd dot read underscore excel. See, this is the whole lowercase, whole thing is lowercase. Yeah, there's no uppercase. Then what is the file name? You came with the nice one, cars sales data dot xlsx. Okay, and save it into the data frame data. So data frame data, so then you have to write it this way. So the question saying, which I have it here, maybe I should bring minty.com on the screen so you can see the questions that people are asking, and then you can also understand why I'm doing it this way. So this is Mentimeter, and these are the live, where are live questions. Okay, and the first questions was this one, which we will make answered, I hope. Now the second one saying read data in Excel, file name whatever this one, and save data in a data frame called data. So that's exactly what we did. We created a data frame called data, and we just read the file. Now this question is good, but maybe they will say in the question, but read sheet number 1 or sheet number 5. Yeah, so you can add a comma, sheet name equal, and then you write the name of that sheet, sheet 5. This way you specifically saying what sheet you would like to read. That's good. So I think that question is answered. Now, how to view the data rows from value X to value Y? This is very good question. Data rows. Yeah, we're talking about the rows of the data. Now let's play with this one, which we already have, assuming we already have data 1. Okay, and data 1 we'll call it data just. Yeah, and let's say we'll name it a new name, clubs. Okay, equal. So basically I just grab the data, I'll call it clubs there. This line we don't need any, we answered something else, but we don't need it. So clubs, I'll just display clubs. This is all the clubs came. Now the question is very good, saying read data rows from value X to value Y. Okay, now value X, it depends on what you mean by that, but I think you mean, say, display data from row 5 to row 10, for example, or row 3 to row 8, or things like that. Yeah, I think that's what you meant by this. Okay, here in our case, one thing I need you to know, we have something called index, and our index is starting by 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to that level. So we have 13 values, so the maximum here is 12. Yeah, because we're starting from 0. Okay, so what if I want to show, for example, from 2 to 7 only? How I can do that? Now let's go add another row here. Now there are different ways to do it. Okay, well, let's see the first one, clubs dot. Now there's something called ILog. ILog is very powerful. I'll show you why it's powerful. If I do like this from 2, okay, to 5, comma, colon, like this. If I do just like this, what it will do, it will display data from row 2 to row 4. Yeah, Yeah, row 4. See, 5 is not included. Yeah, because row 4 is number 5 in our data. And if you go back here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the one has the index 4. The one has the index 4 is number 5 in our data. So when I say display from 2 to 5. Now, if you look at this fresh like this, and there is a comma. So to the right, to the left of that comma, you have your rows. So I said I want to row 2 to 5. There is a column in between. Okay. On the other half is the column. So I'm just saying everything here. So this one, what it did find me 2 to 4, which the fifth row, and it's excluding 5, yeah, and all the columns I have. But if I have only column from column 1, 1, 2, 2, I want to show only this one and this one. This is the way I do. So the second half, which we have here, it can specify the starting column and ending column. So if you do that, you will get only this one, because you just moving by the number 2 is not included. Like the same thing, 5 is not included. So if I have to get the second one, this is the way to do it. So always the last one here is not included. It's just one before that one. So this way, or this one now I have, is displaying values from 2 to 4, not displaying 5, and columned 1 to 2, not displaying 3. So the last one is always you should target. If you want to 4, for example, should make it 5. If you similar thing to the for loop which you did in the last unit, and that's the way it is. Now, so using ILog will allow you to specify what are the rows you want to display and what are the columns. If you want all the columns, you basically put column like that. Like this, you get every column you have. If you want every row, you just put only this one will give you everything. If I want only, say, from 0 to 5, I do this, I'll get only from 0 to 4, yeah? Yeah, 0 to 4. Because 5 has to be, will not be included. So this 2, this is the way, and again, remember how it works? ILog square bracket. It is not a bracket. If you do this, it will not work. You need a square bracket. So the square bracket like that, and then you decide what are the rows you want to display here and what are the columns. If you want row, say 3 to 10 to 9, you put 10, then this will display for you starting from 3 to 9 because you wanted 9. If you want to 10 as well, you add 1 here. So that will give you 3 to 10 because you added 1. And here you can decide you want only, say, row 3 to 3. Yeah. You, sorry, 3 to 4. You don't have 3 to 4. Yeah, that's it. That's 3 to 4. I think these are the points they're getting or something like that from another. Leave that one. Let's see the data first. Yeah, this is the last one. So I said 3 to 4. Now it will show for me only this column because it will not show 4. In fact, there is nothing called 4. If I want 2 to 3, I'll get 2 to 3, which will get me the club name. Al-Dhafra, this is the stadium, yeah. They are the stadium, not the clubs. But anyway, Al-Dhafra Stadium, Mohammed bin Zayed Stadium, and all those stadiums. So that's basically what it is. You have ILog and then column, and then you decide comma and another column. This will give you everything. Then you decide what you want to display from where to where in the row and from where to where in the column. If you want everything in the column, you leave it as it is. Now assume you just want to keep it like this. Will it work? If you do that, it will work. This way it gives you all the columns. This is optional. This is optional, which you're thinking of the columns. If you just want the rows, you can say from 2 to 5, and 2 to 5 will show the 3 rows, 2, 3, 4. If you want 5 to be included, you put 6 and it will work. Okay, so now ILog is very powerful and it's the best one to use. It's faster in terms of the processing and it's logical, very logical. So for your data you have these two parts, part for the rows and part for the columns, separated by a comma, and then you decide whatever you want to display. I hope I answered that questions. I can see I didn't know if I can see there are other questions. Okay, this one I answered, very good. Back to that, so the question is answered. I just want to see if there are any YouTube questions. Sarah, how it will be with lock? Yeah, we'll come to lock. Let me just come here. I have so many questions. Very good, I like that. We will take our time to answer all your questions, hopefully today, and so you feel more relaxed. Just see the questions here. Okay, so the next question, can you please, I'll come back to the log. Can you please explain unit 1 on Jupyter? Very good. And do a small review for unit 1 and unit 2 because we have practical exam tomorrow. Very good. Okay, this is very good questions. Let's do unit 1 review. We will continue on the same one, on the same sheet, but let's do things I think you have done in unit 1 and maybe will be part of your next assessment are the the function and the if statement. Okay, now I know you did this in ripple.it. Now how it's different in Jupyter? There's no big difference. Okay, let's do first the function. So let's create a function, for example, that calculate the average of two numbers, just simple one. So we can call it def. Def is the way you create a function, you declare a function. So def average, okay, and then we're passing two numbers, number A and number B, and then column. This is the way you create a function. So to create a function, you need to use the word def, def, definition, coming from definition or defining function. So you define a function by giving it a name and then having a bracket. There's no function here without a bracket. This bracket is must. If you do like that, you will have an issue because we're using version 3.6. So you need the bracket, and inside what are the variables you pass to that one. So we're passing these two, and then we'll say x, okay, equal a plus b, okay, and then average avg equal x divided by 2. I'm just doing it in 2 steps. Notice the way these are, as we said, is important in Python, the indentation of your code. So if my code like this, it will not work. It will consider this line is not part of the function. To be part of the function, it has to be on the same line. And this one, again, if I do that, it's out of the function. So it has to be like this, okay? So now it does do that. Then let's say return average. Return is, what does mean return? Return, it means do the calculation and send me the result, okay? So this is a function we created now in one cell. We can continue in the same cell, but I'm not going to do that just for a reason. I will run it. Now it did run. Let's open a new cell here and let's call that function, which is called average. So I'll say print, because I want the result, yeah? Or let me do something different, say z equal, and I will call the function. I'll call the function. You call the function like that. I'm calling now the function, but I need to supply not the parameters or variable, I need to supply values. So this is 5 and this is 10, assume, yeah? And I do like that. Now, what it did call that function. It went up to the function average. It changed A to 5, changed B to 10, went inside here and created a new variable called x, added 5 plus 10, became 15, and then calculated average, which 15 divided by 2 became 7.5, and then return average. Will that work? Let's see. Print z, okay, and we run that one. See, the result came 2.5. Now if I want to change this one and make it, for example, 15 plus 30 and run it, now it will give me 2.5. So this line I don't need to write it again. I wrote the function once. Now I can use it as much as I want. I just change this one to 60, run it, it runs. Now when I'm doing this, basically here, let's understand this one, okay? That's the important one. It's simple function, okay? You have the word def and you have space. The space is important. I think you agree to that. And then the bracket is must. And then your variables. Here I'm passing two variables, A and B. And then the most important one is this colon. If there is no colon there and I run this one, I get that error. I get what? Where is that error? Invalid syntax, and it's pointing here. So it's saying there's something missing here. So I should notice that it's pointing here, and that means I have an issue here. I have to put the column. So the column is important. That's one. The other thing, the indentation is important. If I do like this, look at it, it's going to get me an error saying expected an indented block. Just read that, saying I expect you to move this one to the right. So I have to do that. Now, this is all fine. Now, if I come here and say average or whatever and run it, I get an error. Now, what error saying? Saying name average is not defined. Yes, because I did call it here average, so I have to call it here average. Yeah? The language has nothing to do it. If I called it here average or whatever, and I come here and call it average, it will be fine. It will work. Yeah? The most important is this one should match this one. If it doesn't match, it's not going to work. Yeah? It's always good to have the right language and something meaningful. Now notice I did something now. I changed this one back to average. I changed this one to average, and I'm running this one. I'm getting value coming. But if I stop this code and open it again, it might not work, because basically I did not run this one. So when you change any cell, run the cell. Run the cell, yeah? and then that will save you time. So that the function, that's one of the things you had there. Now this function can be very complicated, can be very simple. Let's do another basic functions, yeah, which say something calculating the VAT, yeah, def VAT calc, okay, and this get price or total bill, okay, and then what it does, it add to that one 5%, which the value of VAT. So the VAT, the total will be now I'm going to just simplify this one. Sometimes simplify make it difficult. Total will be the actual value you have. Now you are all if you are business, then you should be good in math, yeah, you will. If you engineering, of course you're good in math. If CIS, of course you are good in math. In business, you should be the applied media, you should be the best in math, yeah. So basically how to calculate VAT, you buy something with 1,000, you add 5% to it, and you add the two together. So your original cost is your original cost coming from here, and then you add to it the original cost multiply 0.05. Okay, that's it, and then you return your value. Let me just do this and add 0 here, and then I can say return total. Okay, run it first. If I do not run it, it will not work, and I can come here and use this. If you want to do this way, is always the best for you. You take that. Now this should be a value, so 1,000, and look at it now. 1,000 became 1,050. Why? Because 0.05 is added to the multiplied with the original, and then added to the original, so that you will pay now 1,050 instead of 1,000, and that's how to do it. So that's one part. I can see there are 11 questions, but I will go through them all, inshallah, if I have the energy and you are patient listening to me. You do not disappear. That's one thing with you, you lose interest quickly. I can see there are 14. This is great. How it will be with log, that's good. When we write gr equal or data equal, yeah, see, it's up to you. You call it gr equal, data equal. I'll come to these questions. Sorry, let me just finish, do the quick revision on the unit 1, then I will come to the YouTube questions, and just don't go, yeah, Fatima, Sarah, others, don't go, just listen, wait, I will answer that questions, and it's important question. Just give me an idea. I feel that you little bit confused about something. Good. So we have done the function, and you know the function, two things. One, you create the function or define it, and then you call it. So here we created the function with the name VAT calc. Now here I am free to use any name. I will call the function Hamad, for example. I can call it Hamad. But when I call it here, when I said my function Hamad, put here Hamad, I have to be consistent with whatever I do. Nobody will force me to choose a function unless the question saying call your function X, then you are forced. So now this Hamad, I do Hamad, it gives me the same thing with no issue. So here you decide whatever name you need for your function. Nobody will force you to do that, yeah? So I like VAT calc, yeah? So if I do that VAT calc and run it, and VAT calc is going to work. Okay, so we done the function. Now the next one is the if statement. Now the if statement is important thing you need to know, because in your life you do so many times you decide on things and you decide on condition. Okay, so now how you do that? The if statement is simple. If open bracket, then colon, okay, then set of instructions, whatever that instructions, you can have them here. Just I'm doing anything here. I will going to explain. See, all these lines belong to the first one. Then you have a part core else, and it has column, and then set of instructions, whatever those instructions are, we will replace them. Okay, that's one structure. Okay, so you have if, and then things you do if that condition is right. Now inside this bracket comes your condition. Condition, and the condition has a limited options. Yeah, either it is equal or not equal, or greater than or less than, or greater than or and equal. These are the conditions. Okay, so now in this case, if we said, if we assume there is a new law came, assume, just we are assuming there's no law in there, just to get you to understand the concept, came if you buy within, or leave the VAT, let's think of discount. So let's say the shop there saying if you buy something with 1,000, we will get you 10% discount. But if you buy more than 2,000, you will get 15% discount, and things like that. So this is a condition. So if you are, and you buy a lot of things, ladies and gentlemen, we spend money. Most of the time, we should not spend it on something that doesn't help. Yeah, let's spend it on something useful. Anyway, let's go and see. So if, okay, if total is more than, say, 1,000, that's a condition. Then we will say we'll give you discount, and discount means we'll give you discount what? Discount equal to, say, 50 dirhams. Okay, and what will be the total in this case? Total will be your previous total minus the discount. Yeah, so if you buy with say 1,001 dirham, so you will get 50 dirhams discount, so you will pay 1,001 minus 50. Okay, that's one. Now if the answer is no, else this is not true, what you buying is say less than 1,000 or equal to 1,000, then the total will be total. Yeah, total. We don't need to make anything, in fact, but we'll say let's say here we'll add print total. Okay, and here we will say print total. Okay, now this is good. Let's assume here we have to ask the user to enter total. Say total equal input, enter total cost. Okay, I'll explain it in more detail, that line I added. I know it's very easy and you know it, but again, I'm someone who like to explain the already explained thing. So let's say float of total. Now this one you already know. Now if I run this function, I'll get questions here and say, I'll say 1,050. Okay, run that one. So 1,050, that's the value I entered. So started by here, this line saying a variable called total. I'm asking the user to input value for the total, input value for total. This value, the user enter 1050. That value will come as a text, not as a number. So I come here and convert it to float. Float, why? Because float has a decimal point. Maybe later I'll do some percentage. I do think it's better. Float is always safer to use because it includes the integer as well. But there are things cannot be float, like number of people. It cannot be 10.5. It has to be integer number. So I'm using float just for the safe thing. Now total became what? 1000. Now comes the condition. If total is more than 1000, it is 1050 the user enter, yeah? So it is 1050. Is 1050 more than 1000? Yes. So it goes and run these things here, which add discount 50, reduce the total by the discount amount, and print the new total. Okay, and then ignore this else. Now if I run it again, assume run it again, and put 900, what I'll get? I'll get 900. It's not minus 50. Before, if you remember, when I did run it, I put 1050, became 1000. Now when I came here and run it, I put 900, I get exactly 900. Why? Because started here, total became 900, converted to float became 900, came here, if 900 more than 1000, no, 900 is not more than 1000, so ignored all these things here because the condition is not met, and jump into the else, and the else just printed the total. So this now worked fine for me. Now how can I convert this one to a function? Okay, let's do that, and then we will add another condition. Okay, I'm just looking at the question there. Okay, so I'm coming here and let's create a function. So we'll say div, we'll call it discount, or discount is good, yeah, discount, and this discount just getting a variable called total, and then what it does this one. Okay, so this I'll copy it, I'll put it inside. Okay, now this is a new function. I will just yeah, this else, see the mistakes I have here. This lines are not indented properly, so this need to go to the right little bit because they belong to the F, and this one should be with the F line, and this one should go there. Now this is the structure. I have a function there, then inside function there is an F statement, so things inside the F statement need to be indented to be part of the F statement. If I have them here, they are part of the def, and ignoring the F statement. They should be here, and this one is here. Now this should be perfect now. So the function is perfect there. Now if I come here and call just discount, let's copy, paste here, discount, and I will pass 1050. I will not, okay, I'll get 1000. Okay, if I'll pass 1000 exactly, I'll get 1000. Yeah, why? Because my condition here is saying more than 1000. 1000 is not more than 1000. But if I add here equal to it and run that cell and come here, I will see now it's going 9 by 50. So the equal is, in this case, made the 1000 is part of the discount. So if you buy with 1000 or above, you get discount. Before saying if you buy more than 1000, you get discount. If you buy 1000, you don't get discount. So these are the two different things that you need to do. Now you see only one type of if statement. See, the if statement is the most critical thing in programming, yeah, because the logic is in the if statement, yeah, and maybe some of you find that challenging. But if you just use simple logic, think of things the way you do in your life. Programming is just representing what we do in our life in a coding. If we cannot solve a problem without using programming, we will not be able to write a program to solve it. That's basically what it is. The fundamental is not the code. The fundamental is understanding the steps that we do to solve the problem. So you need to think about it that way. See, now if we say the condition saying change, condition change, not only 1,000. If you buy between 1,000 and 2,000, you will get 50 dirhams. If you buy between 2,000 and 4,000, you will get 100 dirhams, and so on. Now it comes here a combined condition, and let's go back to this one. Let's copy it down here, add a new one, and I will add it here, and let's say this, call it discount 2, yeah. Okay, so you're passing total, the same thing, but the condition now, if it is more than or equal 1,000, and see, and this is the one. Now the difference between what you use in Jupyter and we use here is that and. In Jupyter you use and like this. Here we're using this and, okay? And. Now when you come with the and, you cannot say and less than or 2,000. You cannot do like that. It will not work. You need again to have this total. You have to say total is less than 1,000, yeah? Okay, so this one now, if the total is more than or equal 1,000 and at the same time it is less than 2,000, then that's it. I'm sure you understand this one, because when you go and buy anything, people will cheat you if you don't understand that, yeah. So you should know the logic behind it. So in this case, if you have that, you say you will get 50 dirhams. Okay. Now, what if there's other conditions? Say if you have 2,000 and above, will be a different discount. So leave these things down here. There's another condition you want to apply. Yeah. If 2,000 to 4,000 will be 100. Now, how we can do that? We can do it this way. There's something else if, yeah. Else if means apply a condition in case the first condition is not met. Yeah. Before we had only if else. Yeah. Either condition met and then do something, not met, do something else. No. Now we're saying if it's not met, check another condition. Don't just do the else, check another condition first. So the other condition here is total is more than or equal 2,000, sorry, and total less than 4,000. Now is the 4,000 included? I don't know. Now if it is that the case, so discount, why I'm too lazy, yeah? See, I forget to have the column in. Discount equal 100. Assume there is another condition. If it is more than 4,000, yeah. So else if, don't feel tired of it, we will do until 1 million. So get ready. If it is more than or equal 400, then discount, don't disappear, I was joking. the equal 1150. Yeah. Now if nothing of this is okay, so there is no nothing has changed, then in that case, else none of this condition is met, then total still, yeah, the same total, yeah, did not change, total. Okay, now we can say after all this condition we can say print total. Yeah, so this is the new functions. Did we delete the extra things? You need to remember you delete those extra things. Let me back explain this one again. So we have total. Now if the total is more than or equal 1000 and less than 2000, so it is within a range between 1000, you buy something 1000, or something less and less than 2000, between this range. Okay, then you will get 50% discount. If you buy more than or equal 2000 and less than 4000 in this range, and then you will get 100 discount. Okay, and then I know we have to do some calculation here. Then you will have total, if it is more than 4000, sorry, that's 4000, then you will get 150, and else you will get total equal total. Now the total has to change. Yeah, so here before we do that, we need to say total equal total minus discount, isn't it? Discount, yeah, total equal, then we print total. Now there's one thing here will not make our code work, and it's good we discover it, so we'll fix it. So we did not declare this discount. We have no, I'll explain what does it mean. Now I run this one, it looks fine, but it's not fine. And then I run it here by calling discount 2. Remember, you're calling discount 2. Don't call discount 1, because if you call discount 1, it will go here. Oh, it will work. You know why? Because our discount declared in the previous function. Oh, that's not good examples, but I will show you how I make it doesn't work. So let's call it here discount 2 instead of discount, because that one used there, and now it will not work, and then I'll be happy because I want it not to work. See, still it's working. I'm not happy because it's working, because we use discount somewhere there. Anyway, it's working, so let's go back. No worries, everything is working because discount was declared here. Yeah, because here we did not refer to it, we declared it directly. I know why it's working. Okay, so good. Now if you put 150, you can see now you put 150, went there and went to the function total 150. Total is more than 1000 and less than 2000, so the value we have is in this range. The 1050 is in that range. So then the discount will be 50 dirhams, so it will ignore all the remaining and jump directly to this line. Okay, as soon as it finds the range, it just ignores the rest of the code. It does the things after that one and ignore this. So now 1050 in this range, so it did calculate discount as 50 and ignored all the remaining and jumped to this one, which at the same level. So the new total, which 1050 minus 50, it's became 1000, and I get the result 1000. Now if I run it by saying assume now I wanted to come in this range, so we'll put 2001, yeah, which in that range, or 2000 even. Yeah, 2000 is in that range because we use equal here. If we run that one, see what we'll get. Now Now 2000 is coming again 50. Why you having this stupid thing? 1001. Yeah, there's something here which we are doing. Okay, good. Yeah, I know now what it is. This is very important. This conditions, this one and this one, has to be in its own bracket. That's what I was looking for not to work. So I have to put this one in between bracket, this one in between bracket. This is because of the version we're using. In the previous version which you had before, it's fine. But here, if you have two conditions in the same if statement, the conditions has to go inside a bracket. Yeah, each one inside its own bracket. This one is fine if there's only one bracket. But here, because I have and, I have to have the first condition in a bracket, the second condition in a bracket. Okay, so run it and come back here and run this one. See, now we received 100 discount. If I do 2000, I receive 100 discount. So please remember that in this version, these brackets are important. Each condition, it should be between open and close bracket, open and close bracket. Yeah, open and close bracket. Okay, this is fine. Now if I go with more than or equal 4000, and you can see we're getting now more, getting 150 discount. But if I give only 400, then there's an issue here. And why that issue is coming, now this is what I meant. Discount is not declared. Local variable discount is not declared, because basically here we did not, when we use else, we did not calculate discount. There are two options. One is I add here discount equal 0, and this will work. That's an option that I can use and it will work. Or the other thing, I can take this discount from here and put it on the top here directly, and this also will work. This will produce the same thing. Yeah, so that because here in this one I did not use discount, so I have to, now to be consistent for you and you understand it better, you just add discount here. So for the first one, discount was 50, second one discount 100, third one discount 1000. If you do that, you don't need this line, so you are consistent now. In the first range, you get discount 150. In the second range, you will get 100. In the third range, you get 50. Okay? Okay, I can see some of you losing. I'm losing some of you now. There are only 15 of you, because I maybe spent too much time on this. But I think I'll stop there. Now, we have and, we have the other one is or. Yeah, and that's what you need to do. Or means in case one of the condition need to be met. It's simple logic. Like, for example, if I say to you, if your name Ahmed, or you sitting on the first row, raise your hand up. Everyone in the first row will raise his hand up, isn't it? Because every or, if you or, you are in the first row. You are in the first row. If you are in the first row, so you raise your hand up. But if I say, if your name is Ahmed and you're sitting in the first row, only Ahmed who is sitting in the first row will raise his hand up. The and give more condition and limit the options. Make it limited, because you need to apply both conditions. Or gives you more flexibility. Any of these two conditions will be accepted. So if you are in the first row, or your name is Ahmed, everyone in the first row is meeting the condition, so everyone in the first row will put hand up. Then everyone his name is Ahmed in the room will raise his hand up because his name is Ahmed. He's not in the first row. You need only one condition, but his name is Ahmed. So everyone in the room with Ahmed will put hand up, and everyone in the first row will put hand up. Just keep this in your mind. That will maybe will simplify the way you look at it. Sorry, I spent too much time on this one, but I'll come back to it if more questions come in. So let's jump. Say small review of Unit 1 and Unit 2 review because of the practical exam. Yeah, Unit 2. Oh, sorry. Maybe did I open this screen? Is it still going on live there? Oh, okay. Now it's going live. I think I did something. Yeah, Unit 2, I will do quick review on Unit 2. I know there are many other questions. I will just look at them quickly. Hello, I wanted to know what are the main things we need to know for the midterm because there is a lot of stuff. Okay, I'll talk about that one. What is the difference between GR and data and when we should write each of them? There is no difference at all. It's up to you to call it GR or call it data or call it X or call it Hamad or call it Fatima or call it Ali. Any name you use. The variable name is up to you to decide. You decide anything. Unless the question is saying name it data, then you name it data. So when you say sometimes GR or sometimes data, it's up to you, you decide. No one will force you to say use GR or use data. Unless the question is said that, yeah? So there's no difference, they are the same. I'll show you an example here, yeah? For example, in this code, I hope the one who asked the question is still here, okay? So in this one, this is fine. I called it data, isn't it? Now, if I want to call it GR, it will be GR, and I can come here and say GR. It's up to me. I call it anything. Now, in an example we used in the past, we called GR, we were referring to grade. Always good to have a name that refer to the data. So this data, for example, here we're looking at it, is about football, yeah? So I maybe call it football, FT, for example. Does that mean anything? It just make it easy for me to relate to it. I call it football. And later I decided to call the first row club. But I discovered later it's not really club. Is it club? It's stadiums? No, it's clubs. Yeah, right. Yeah, so it's clubs. So that table clubs. But I could call it, it's clubs. I could call it cars. Who cares? Call it cars. It will work. It will work. But it's not cars. So why should I call it cars? I should use something related to that. So I can say it, say clubs maybe better, or I don't like clubs, maybe I call it, for example. So it's up to you. The programming is logic, ladies and gentlemen. And logic does not force you to do anything except the common sense of that. And common sense is you have a variable to store your data. Call that variable anything you want. But now you call it X, you should later when you use it refer to X. Don't call it X and later refer to as Y. It doesn't work. I did call it CP, for example, here, and I come here and say CO. It will not work. I'll get an error because it is CP. Your name is Ali and I call you Hassan. You will not reply to me. You say, what? My name, you calling me? Something like that. Yeah, so there's no need to be worried about what you call the variable. This is a variable, up to you to decide whatever you want to call it. Just stick to what name you use and continue like that. Okay, that's a good question. Thank you. There's no issue with asking these questions. Ask those questions because sometimes just you driven maybe the way we maybe things going is like it's becoming a memory. It's not a memory, please. You don't need to memorize anything. This code is there. When the exam will give you a sheet, has all the code, the functions, the commands there, and then you use it. I don't want you to memorize. You can find it. If you memorize it, it becomes faster for you. You don't need to look at the code and find what's written here and we'll search on the website. You already know it. It becomes faster and you become more productive. But if you don't, it's not an issue. The code is there. You need to apply common sense and logic. Okay, done with that question. Very good. Hello, I wanted to know what are the main things. I think I missed a question there. The main things we need to know for the midterm. Okay, this is the good questions. I think unit 2 review, I think it's something that I need to do. Yeah, the things you need to do in this second question, I'm sure your faculty has explained it to you, but we're covering things that we did not test you in the first test. So you didn't do a test on if statement. So if statement is included. Then the function is included. This is from unit 1. Functions, if statement. And then in unit 2, what you studied so far, you studied how to read data from Excel, CSV, HTML file. You've seen that one and you know how to do it. Now how to work with columns. I'll do some examples on the columns now and how to deal with the columns. I'm really happy with the many questions. I'm not able to catch up with all these questions, but I'll go with that. Now I'll see a question about the open book. I'll talk about that one. The working with the columns, getting data, how to sort data, how to select specific rows. We had an example today. Someone asked question from X to Y, how you show this list of data, how to do some calculations, basic calculation like calculating total or multiplying a column with certain data. Things you studied so far. Sorting data, indexing data. We have the short videos, it has all the details in it. And these are the things you will be tested. Maybe I'm missing a few more, but whatever you have done with your faculty until this moment in terms of data analytics, you will be doing. It will not test you on the visualization because that's will come later. So let's do a quick revision on unit 2, then I'll come back. Now, the question about is it open book? It's not open book. You will be giving, I said, the command sheet. You will have command that has all the command that needed in unit 2. Unit 1 just if statement and different function. That's you should know it. By unit 2 you will get all the commands that there and the syntax, the structure of each command. It's the same page you have at the last page of unit 2. There is a page with all the command that you'll be giving, and then you will be giving data, and you need to work with this data to produce whatever the question is asking you. And things are if you just did the practical, trust me, it's very simple. And if you apply common sense, it is a simple thing to do. So I'll do revision on unit 2 quickly after that. Now the next question, I'll just go quickly through those questions so I don't ignore anything. How can I rename the column? That's very good. I did it, but it's not working. Okay, fine. I wish you can find a way later. You can do this. I think we did a WhatsApp account, which I was assuming that you can take a photo of your page and send it to me through WhatsApp, but that's something maybe you can do some other time, or find interactive port, like Zoom seems not working outside college for a reason, otherwise it could have been great. Yeah, we'll do renaming column. The most important thing, I will show you how you can find answers for questions, not only this one. You want to know how to learn something new, how you can do that. I will show you clearly how you can do this. Then send for us examples for the midterm. Example is, we feel nervous because all of the teachers do not know anything. No, I don't think teachers do know. And don't say every teacher. You haven't seen every teacher. But as I said, these are the things. We'll cover most of the things you need to know. Can we do a revision for the midterm? Yes, we can do. Ask me questions, I will explain it. So let's go back and do a revision on Unit 2. And explaining groups, you are right. Someone said about the groups. We will do it now, okay? So let's do a revision, and we can play with this data we have here if you want. I think that's good. Yeah, I think we'll play with this data which we have. Or maybe we find another Excel file. Let me go to another Excel file. I think we have in our library. Leave this one. Let's go back to our library, and in the case studies we have one about the store. Yeah, this superstore. This one we can play with, and I just copied that one. So let's open a new one, call it Superstore 2, and I'll go for 3.6. And now where is that Superstore 2? Here is it. So we'll do a quick revision. I'm not sure if you are still seeing my screen. Is my screen still working fine with no issue? When we use the word len and shape, I like that question. Yeah, I will do all this. I'll do a full revision now. Yeah, import pandas as PD. Okay, I increase this a little bit. Yeah, so this one is you are familiar with, and then I'm not going to use data this time, or data. Yeah, so we'll call it store. Yeah, store equal PD dot read underscore Excel. Now, one thing you could have done wrong is that you just did not remember to do PD, and I will do that and show you the mistake that will happen. Okay, and you do this, you will get name read Excel is not defined, because basically you didn't remember PD. PD is the one that does the magic for us. Yeah, so that's done, and now that's reading. So this one you should be now 100% you know how to do it. It's just simple thing. Import pandas as PD, and then any variable you want to call it, anything you want to call it, and then PD read underscore Excel. Again, remember read underscore Excel, and then the file name. Okay, now this case, because this file just has one sheet, I think, but if you have more sheets you can add comma and then sheet name, one word, equal, and then you put the name of the sheet. Okay, so let's just leave it as it is, and we just going with that. Now store dot head. It's important you know how to do this. You might be asked question, show the head of your data. Sorry for that. Where is my water? It's gone somewhere. Okay, So that's basically how we do display the head, and the head does display the top 5. You may be asked, maybe if you ask, to do the tail. So store dot tail, and this will show you the tail. Yeah, so that's this. Now there was a question about the shape. Now the shape is important. It gives you how many columns and how many rows you have in that data. Let me get some water. Do you still see the screen clear? Because on my iPad there is an issue here. Yeah, it seems working fine. I open it. Let me get water. Oh. Good. So, and I hope you see my mouse. Okay. Okay, so shape. So store dot shape. Now, both are the same. The question was very good. When to use len, when to use shape. Now, if you want to know how many rows and how many columns, both how many rows and how many columns, use shape. So shape gives you both. If you want only how many rows, then you use len. Len just give you how many rows. No columns. So here we're getting there are 9, 9, and 4 rows, but this one gives us more information. Give us how many rows and how many columns there. So it's more powerful than the normal one. Now I did this, then I lost. Okay, so that's done. Now the next thing, now we have the columns. How we find what are those columns, the names of those columns. Of course we can look here and find what the columns, yeah, that's one thing. But if the columns are large, we will not be able to see all of them. Now we have only 21, it's easy. Okay, so let's see now how we find the columns. Simple. Store, because now our data is stored, and columns. Yeah, and sorry, columns. These are the columns. Notice one thing with shape and columns. Usually most of the function they have this bracket, yeah, these two bracket. But shape and column do not use the bracket. You ask me why? I'll give you the answer. I think maybe the answer will complicate things for you. These are not functions, they are properties, they call it, yeah. And if you are in Java programming and object oriented, you know there are something called properties or fields, and there are something called methods. So don't complicate your things. Remember, just columns do not need bracket. If you do bracket and it doesn't work, oh yeah, I don't need bracket, then that's the option. Okay, if you can't remember, so you just try with bracket. Without bracket it will work. Now this came the columns we have. These are all the columns we have. Okay, now these columns are very useful. This way of doing it is very useful for us because we can see the whole columns here, and if we want to refer to certain thing, we can do like that. We will look at that one. Now the next one, we say we want data only from column. I need the data from that has the order ID. Okay, has only the shipping mode. Okay, I don't want all the data. I want just certain columns. I don't want all the columns. I just certain columns. How you do that? You go back to your store. Okay, and then this bracket. Now if you have a single column you want to display, you just add the name of that single column. So I can say I want only order ID, so I copy and put here order ID, this will display only the order ID. Okay, that's easy. Yeah. Notice I'm using copy and paste because very important. If I ignore this space, it will not give me the result. I'll get a big error because here it's written with space, so I have to have space. So this way, doing columns, I can just refer directly to this one. Now I displayed only one column. Now if I want order ID and order date, yeah, I can add here and it will not work, and take order date from here. I'm sure you're wondering why he's saying it doesn't work, and he does it because we learn from the mistake. So I do now, it's not working, yeah, it's giving me error. So what that error is, I need a bracket when you have, this is just a law, yeah, programming like a law. If you have more than one column, the column should be put between square brackets. So I have a square bracket here and square bracket here, this additional, so become square bracket inside square bracket. So when you refer to more than one column, you need a square bracket. Always giving you more than one column, square bracket. Yeah, so this way it will work. So now it's displaying order ID and order date. Okay, I need to add a third one, say for example customer ID. Okay, I can copy from here and add comma customer ID. So this one now it's becoming like that. Maybe I want to add quantity. Is there quantity, guys? You see quantity somewhere there? This quantity. Okay, quantity, comma, quantity. Now I'm glad that nobody asked me why it's double quote, not single quote. It doesn't make difference. If I make this one single quote, it will work. It will be the same. Doesn't make difference. The only difference it will make if I have this one side double quote and this one single quote, then I'll have an issue. As long as I am consistent using double quote or single quote, I'm fine. If I mix, then I get the trouble. Programming is logic. You follow logic, you'll become fine. And we're following logic all our life. Otherwise, you will not survive in life. Yeah? Now, this is good. So we have a new one. Let's store this one in a new variable. Okay? So we call it brief store. Yeah? For example, you ask me why you call it brief store? Because I just decided. I could have called it BF. Okay? I'll say it BF. Okay? Any variable. Okay, now you know it because I repeated this one multiple times as any variable. Now when you store it in a variable and you run it, it doesn't display the result because it's stored in the variable and keep it there. You want the result, you can come say BF and say head, for example. Yeah, then you will get the head of that BF. So you have a new data which I created from my big data, which has the order ID, the order date, the price and quantity. Okay, that's something I have done. Okay, good. Now maybe I need to add to this one product ID, sorry, because product ID is important. So I can add product ID, and the good thing I can add it anywhere. So I decided to add it at the beginning. I add it at the beginning, comma, became here product ID, run it. Now I have product ID in there. Okay, just for a reason I did that one, which I want to show you how you group things. Yeah, which one of the questions being asked by one of you. I'm not okay. So we did now how to take some certain columns from the data. Now another thing you need to know by now is how you display certain rows in your data, okay, and that using ILog. Now the other question someone asked me about ILog and log, said what the difference between log and ILog. Okay, ILog is using the index, means from row 5 to row 7, yeah, from column 6 to column 12, for example. Index, yeah, sequence from this order number to that number. The log use values, so get me the value of product ID X to product ID Y, yeah, so that's give you the log. So the log look for value, and ILog you look for index. This is why it has the I at the beginning. ILog, index log. So if you search by the actual value, use log. If you search by where it is in terms of its order in the list, then use ILog. Okay, and that where is the difference. Now if you change the index, then you can have different things. Now this is good. Let's do the grouping now. Group by. Someone asked question about group by, but before that maybe you can add some calculations. Yeah, let's assume we want to add another column. Where is the actual, is there a price? Where is price? Sales is what the sales is. Let's look at the sales is a value. Yeah, very good. Sales, that's the value. Okay, so let's add, excuse me for that, I'll add just quantity and sales because I want to show you how to do calculation. Yeah, and sales, I have to go and sleep anyway. Let's do just the cells and then some calculations. Now I added cells. Now assume I want to create a new column here called total. Yeah, total, which multiply the quantity by the cells, for example. Okay, how I can do that? So I want to create something called total. So BF bracket total. This is a new column. It's not part of our column there. It's not there. Okay, and B total equal, and it is the quantity multiply cells. So BF quantity, yeah, multiply BF cells, and this what it will do, it will multiply the two and create something called total. Now it did that calculation. Because of this version it has some warning, but that's fine. Now if I do BF dot head now, see what will happen. I have a new column called total came, which actually is a multiplication of this column by 2 and this value by 3 and this value by 2, this value by 5, and so on. So it's very simple to add any calculations. You need the new name of your column that you want to create, and then you take the two columns and multiply them or divide them or do whatever you want to do with this data. Okay, so that's one thing you do. The other thing you do with the data is, for example, you want to describe it. So if you say BF, and now this is our total, and we want to describe it. Say describe, or let's take the minimum first, minimum value of it. So in this total column, if you look at the whole data, yeah, and you do minimum. The minimum value was this one. If you want the maximum value, this is the maximum value to be there. Okay, the maximum is this. Okay, and you can use describe, and describe will give you all. Will give you the minimum, will give you the maximum, will give you how many items are there, will give you everything. So describe is a basic description of your data. Can I use in place equal true? Yes, absolutely. This who said that one instead of BF. No, yes and no. Here you cannot use, in this one you cannot use in place. In place you use it with sorting, when you sort the data or you index the data. But if you filter data using certain columns only with no conditions, then you cannot use in place in this case. So in place will not work here, but we will use it when we do the sorting in the next few minutes. Okay, so that finding minimum, maximum, standard, count, this is all. If you get a question, for example, find us the minimum value, so you can just do BF total minimum. Now if you take the whole BF and say describe, this will give you interesting result. It will take every column that has number. See, it ignore those that are not numeric. Looked at only numeric numbers, which the quantity, the sales, the total. These are the three. And for each one found what is the count, what is the mean or the average, or what is the standard deviation, what is the minimum, 25%, and like that. I'm sure many of you are doing, I think all of you doing a course on statistics, and you will know what is standard deviation now, or you will know it in the near future as well. Now let's do the group first. Let's group it by product. Now when you use the group, that's a good question. When you have the same item repeated multiple of times, so you are doing now, I'll give you easy example. Your name is Hazza, okay, and you're doing 5 courses this semester. Each course you scored certain score. Now if you find Hazza, what is the average for all the courses? One way we can use is we can group that by ID or by the name, and then we'll find it. Or so group is grouping the items multiple of times. So the courses, Hazza doing X course, Hazza doing Y course, Hazza doing all things, grouping it together with Hazza ID. So let's here group by product ID. Okay, so let's do this and say our BF, okay, dot group by is one word, and then we're using product ID, and we're using sum. Now group require using one of these functions, yeah, one of these functions, either sum or minimum or maximum. If I do it without that, I'll get some interesting result. Now when I did this one, BF group by ID, now this ID was there for maybe 20 records, yeah, viewer BO 100112. Now they are all grouped together, and quantity being added together, and cells added together, and total added together. So this became grouped together, yeah. I can show you how this is without doing the group. Let's just cut this one, add a new cell, and let's come here, okay, just to get you to understand that. Let me filter data by using this item, yeah. So I want to display only records that has this value. So BF, and this is one thing you need to know. When you want to filter data, you will have, say, BF, and you will have a condition here. Yeah, that's condition. Now, what is the condition? The condition is, again, the column equal that value. Yeah, so we need the product ID, and I will finish in few minutes, then we can go and enjoy our night. Product ID equal that, but this is not enough. Yeah, we know if you want to refer to a column, you need to have the data set there. So BF this way. So this line saying the column product ID is equal to this. So this will display for me only that product ID, and it's only once there, but maybe I need more ID. Where is the product ID? Seems there are, yeah, let's use maybe something else. Maybe this is better, or maybe this one. I need a product ID that has more items. This one has only one item. Could be this one, and run. Yeah, see this one. Okay, so this product ID repeated how many times? Repeated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Okay, and each one has quantity, different quantity. So there is an order here on that item with 2 quantity, with 3 quantity, with 2 quantity. Now when we do group I, all this will be added together in one product ID. All this will be added together in product ID. So when we can do this, that what will happen. So that product ID, which OFLLA, will be added together. Now one thing with the group by as well is it does create a new index. Remember in our previous data which we had here, we had 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now and it's like this. Now we have a new thing called product ID. Product ID is not on the same level as the other one. I would love really to continue, but the challenge, I think you are tired. I am also a little bit tired. So we have to stop there, and we can continue maybe another time. But I hope you find this useful. Wish you all the best with all the things you're doing. And if you just practice, you will find it's really simple. So this question is a little bit strange. I think I wrote HTML because that time I was working with HTML. It depends on what data you work with, if it's HTML or something else. Yeah, I did explain the user-defined function and how can we read the columns and organize them, and how we can read how many rows and column in a file. I think we did that one using shape. Shape will find you that, and also we have done how to select columns using brackets. Can you please revise with us the needed questions for the, I think we had a discussion on that. How can I repeat the whole video again? This video you can just, it will be posted and you can repeat it if you want. It will be on YouTube as soon as it finishes. Then the other one is, sir, we need to have the exam on Pandas so we can make sure that we solve right, not as a first exam. Yeah, it's on Jupyter. The difference between if statement and function, huge difference. The function is grouping your code that may include if statement, may include anything else. The if statement is just applying a condition. What is the difference between, yes, this one is used into functions and this one used when you refer to columns. Yeah, that's a simple thing. What about loop? Loop is not included. We have done it in the first one. When we when we should put, yeah, you use this one when you deal with the function, okay? This one when you deal with columns or ILog or log, and this one when you deal with dictionary. And the only place you will use this one, the brace one, the only place in this course you will use it when you change the column name, which I know there's one question which we did not cover. Just I'll go through all these questions, so I feel I have done that. I have exam tomorrow. I need to help. If you have something similar to this, how can I solve it? Write a command to set the index of a data frame. Yeah, that's simple. The index is very simple one, which here, look at, for example, let's take the main data store. Yeah, let's come down here and here. So let's say row ID there is, or something you said row ID, this one row ID. Yeah, this do index like row ID. So here index 0 1 2 3. Now we're going to change it to row ID. So you can say store dot set underscore index, and then you decide what index should be, and then if you want to apply it to the data, use in place equal true. Okay, and that will now set the index for your data. So if you come here and say store dot head, you will see your index now is row ID, and it is not really what used to be here, 0 0 became row ID. So that how simple it is to do that. So your data type, then set index set underscore index, and then here you will put the index you want to use, and then in place. Now if you have more than one index, then you need a bracket here, okay, and then you add the other index. You can have more than one index, so you can add order date, for example, then you'll have more than one index. But if you have only one, you don't need this bracket, you just need this. And in place means exchange the original data you have. Okay, done with that. Thank you. Third question, GR1, what does the name, the number? Yeah, the number is the index of your. Now the example we used before for the reading from a website, remember we had something called data. When we put 0 was the first column, when we put 1 because the second table, and 2 the third table. So this number refers to which data set you go for. If you have only one table in your data set, then you don't need this number here. You need this number when you have different tables inside the same data set. Most of the time you will not need that. What about for loop? It's not included. Can you explain def? I did. Thank you. So we have done, I think. Thank you very much. Sorry, I would like to continue. I know there are 15 of you, but I have to go because I have things in the morning that I have to do early morning. But I wish you all the best, and I hope you find it useful. And we'll do one more when we have time. Enjoy your time. Thanks.